Okay, so we've looked at the following previous videos: grouping of animals and plants, classifying organisms, the scientific name, types of adaptations, survival and competition, what is biodiversity, and we're now going to have a look at how we can protect biodiversity. So we've got to remember that biodiversity is always under threat. Climate change, pollution, forest fires, deforestation, and a lot of the times it's because of human activity. So it's our duty to try to protect biodiversity at all costs. And the main reason is to try to avoid extinction. Now, extinction is the complete loss of a species from planet Earth. So, for example, the dodo, they became extinct due to human activities. The dinosaurs became extinct due to natural catastrophes. But every single day there are species becoming extinct, mainly due to human activities. Now, there's multiple things we can do to try to protect biodiversity as best we can. One of which is called CITES. Now, CITES is the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species. It's effectively legislation. So these are laws in place that countries have signed up to stop the international trade of animals, live animals, or it could be parts of animals. A good example is ivory from the tusks of elephants or the horns of rhinos. You have to be very careful what you try to go to the airport with. You may have bought something abroad. If it's ivory, you could be stopped and questioned about that particular item. Some animals are transported live as pets for people's personal zoos or just home pets, things like these tiny little monkeys, lions and tigers, things like that. And they're protected by international law. And people can go to jail for these things. There could be massive fines, and people can actually be thrown in jail for the international trade in endangered species. Could be captive breeding programs. So this worked quite well for the American bald eagle, which is one of the symbols of America. It's on a lot of their coins and their dollar bills. And what happens is in zoos, the animals are bred, and then when they reach a certain age, they're actually released back into the wild, and they're bred and brought up in a certain way where human contact is minimized, so that they don't get used to human activity, so they're as wild as possible, so they have the best chance of survival in their natural habitat. And then they boost the numbers in their natural habitat, and eventually they become less endangered. So that worked very, very well for the American bald eagle and the condor. Could use national parks and nature reserves. These tend to be plots of land which are put aside purely for certain species of plants and animals, often protected by fences, security guards, cameras, to prevent things like poaching. So in Africa, for example, a patrolman helicopter with armed guards, poachers can be shot on site, killed. Could have seed and sperm banks. So basically, if an animal is lost or a plant is lost, we have seeds, we have sperm and eggs. So we could actually, in the laboratory, we could rekindle and regenerate that population if need be. And on a more local level, what we call triple SIs, sites of special scientific interest. Sometimes these could be a pond down the road from you that's designated as a triple SI. It's protected by laws which prevent things like construction, pollution, tipping of waste, things like that, litter. So it protects the species that actually live there. So we have these international laws. We have breeding programs to boost numbers. We have nature parks and reserves to actually physically protect and guard animals. We have backup plans in terms of seed and sperm. And on a more local level, we can designate areas as being of special scientific interest. For example, a pond might contain a certain endangered species of newt, like the great crested newt. So that pond, therefore, is protected by law. So that's how we can protect biodiversity.